We're not going to make America great again. It was never that great. We have not reached greatness. We will reach greatness when every American is fully engaged. We will reach greatness when discrimination and stereotyping against women, 51% of our population, is gone.
All of my homies around me, they know that ain't nobody perfect. We've been grinding for a minute, I told them it's gonna be worth it. We just speak it to existence, so nothing is left unsaid. Much love, but if you ain't family or business, you left on red, left on red.
White people, they used to be everywhere. In our homes, at our jobs, and on our juries. For years, white people were the majority in this country. And when you're the majority, America feels like one long sing-along around the campfire. But those days are about to come to an end.
All lives matter is actually a violent statement, because the only time that people say all lives matter is in opposition to Black Lives Matter. And it's the most violent statement of love that you can do. It's like
on this side, and that's happening. This side, we're coming over to this other side, and there was a firework that's being thrown at the police. Wow! Big firework just popped off. People are very upset out here. The police are surrounded.
I'm an Italian American. I came from poor Italian Americans who came here. You know what they called Italian Americans? Back in the day, they called them WAPs. You know what WAP stood for? Without papers. I'm undocumented. You want to deport an undocumented person? Start with me, because I'm an undocumented person.
That's right. It won't be long before white people in America will be just another minority. Going from majority to minority in America can be painful. Just ask the American Indian. Luckily, America is very clear on how minorities should be treated. Here are some helpful guidelines to get you started. The first thing you'll need to do is find a new place to live. Why, look at all those lovely suburban homes. How can anyone choose? Now, you don't have to. As a minority, society chooses for you. You'll be limited to your city's high-crime, low-income neighborhoods, making searching for that home sweet home easy as pie.
Thank you, Seattle, for being one of the most progressive cities in the United States of America. Ask him.
If you do not listen to her, your event will be shut down right now.
We have economic problems. They're stealing our jobs. They're too expensive. It's these illegal immigrants that are coming in. We can't pay for the health care, can't pay for the education. They're stealing the bottom-end jobs. Kick them out, and the Syrian refugees are part of that.
To let you on the mic. Okay. All right, so we are trying to be reasonable. We are going to give you the mic. Well, after Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders.
Ah, the freedom of the open road. Now that you're a minority, driving's a new kind of adventure. Simply driving a car while white means you'll automatically be under suspicion of having committed a violent crime. And when the policeman pulls you over, do exactly what he says. Because in America, it's not unusual for minorities to be shot for not being arrested quickly enough. Until recently, the only crimes people blamed the whites for were harmless violations like corporate malfeasance, resulting in global economic collapse.
Senator Sanders. After Senator Sanders. Okay. All right. We're shutting it down. You are shutting it down. You are disrupting this.
And the occasional mass murder. But as a minority, you can expect to be blamed for all the crime. Managed to stay out of the clink? Well, Jimmy cracked corn. Now it's time to find a job. Well, it used to be that the working world was your occupational oyster. You'll now find your options limited to a career in the lawn maintenance, migrant farming, and table bussing industries. Oh, and remember, don't think of it as job hunting anymore. As a minority, you should think of it as taking our jobs.
What do blue state Democrats do when the federal government takes away the state and local tax deduction? Everyone thought these states would get religion and cut spending. Nope. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo now wants $1.5 billion in new taxes and fees. Let's bring in the Fiscal Times' Liz Peek. Liz, I thought the storyline was they're going to get religion and cut spending. What was your reaction when you saw that headline?
My reaction was actually literally, thank heavens we have the Metropolitan Museum of Art, Broadway, etc., because people are leaving New York.
Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in a blanket. Fry like bacon, pigs in
This group marching at the state fair, chanting horrific things. Pigs in a blanket, fry 'em like bacon, they're saying.
So, say hello to the new America. Sure, the loss of white privilege might take some getting used to, but there's no reason why, with a few simple downgrades to your expectations, you shouldn't become a proud, happy, constructive member of society. A society in which you're a minority.
Suspect said he was upset about Black Lives Matter. He said he was upset about the recent police shootings. The suspect said he was upset at white people. The suspect stated he wanted to kill white people, especially white officers. The suspect stated that we will eventually find the IEDs.
We have lost 1 million people since 2010, 190,000 just last year, and that's before this big new hit comes from the reduction in state and local taxes.
So you're saying you thank God for the museum to be
here? Yeah, because
to
it's an attraction.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this state governance is so terrible, Liz. We are the #1 state for high individual taxes, #2 in terms of businesses. We are driving people away, and we're going to start driving businesses away.
My name's Faith, and I'm here because I need your help. No, I'm not asking you to spare the snow leopard or the sea turtle from becoming extinct species. I'm here with a plea for diversity.
Need a move from anybody in that direction to do anything like that. So, you know, couldn't predict what would happen in the future, but it does look like police are standing in front of this store. Tensions, as you can see, emotions are heated right now. But really, the police officers are telling me they just want to keep an eye on things. They didn't want a crowd in and out of this store, is what it sounds like. And it's not clear to me whether the store made the decision to close or whether police advised that they'd be closing. And I'm peering in the windows.
Deanna, have you had a chance to talk to any of these folks? I mean, are they a lot just truly waiting for a ride? Or are they gathering because you know, lots of people are talking about what happened tonight, so maybe they're just looking for other people to share their message with. But then you also see people really excited in the back of the shot.
Come on, man. The president fired back today on Twitter, saying in part, "Can you believe this is the governor of the highest taxed state in the U.S., Andrew Cuomo, having a total meltdown?" The tit for tat continued, with Cuomo responding, saying, "What would you say would be great again would not be great at all. We will not go back to discrimination, segregation, sexism, isolationism, racism, or the KKK. Like NY's motto says, Excelsior, ever upward, not backward."
The European is a rare beauty growing nearer to extinction by the day. Non-European peoples are both legally and illegally invading their natural habitats. It wasn't so long ago that Europeans made up over a quarter of the world's population, and it won't be too long until their numbers plummet to just a single digit. Will you just walk away?
Uncle Tom just stand up.
All he cares about is beating Trump. That's it. He's running for president. He's been running for president for literally months. If Trump said the sky was blue, he would say it's green.
Yes.
And he wouldn't care. And there's a bunch of New Yorkers who would agree with him, whatever he said.
European demographic replacement has not been without social upheaval too. Mass rape epidemics and the spectacle of terrorism have swept across the UK, Germany, Sweden, and France too.
Protest group Black Lives Matter to march as honored guests in this year's parade.
Shut it down! Shut it down!
About 2/3 of the way along the route, the invited protest group held a protest, a mid-intersection sit-in, stopping the parade. They threatened to stay put until Pride Toronto organizers signed a list of demands that included excluding police force floats and booths from Pride.
We are not telling individual cops and individual that they can't participate. What we are saying is that the presence of 7 police forces creates an unsafe situation for a number of marginalized communities.
Pride Toronto's executive director and its co-chair showed up to sign the demands and get the parade going after a half-hour delay.
For the European diaspora across the pond, Trudeau's Canada is the country facing the fastest rate of ethnic change in the West. With a per capita immigration rate that's roughly twice that of the United States, where 4 out of 5 immigrants are a visible minority, the Great White North is destined to become a majority-minority country in less than a generation.
I believe that we just won!
Black Lives Matter participants celebrated what seemed like a win. But Pride Toronto's co-chair saw their demands as a starting point for discussions.
My reaction was to listen to them, to hear what they had to say, and to look at how we explore further conversation to meet their requests.
Today, Black Lives Matter organizers said they fully expected Pride Toronto to take that approach.
We're not surprised, and I think that there's going to be a lot of negotiations, and I think there's going to be a lot of hard lines set from our end.
Local and national police forces have been participating in Toronto Pride for years.
And stateside, even with President Trump at the helm, the United States is not being spared from the ongoing, relentless process of population replacement. Due mostly to Hispanic and Asian immigration and the consolidation of already established immigrant populations, whites will be a minority in America in less than 1 generation. However, the same will be true of under 18s in just 4 years. As for the non-Hispanic white birth rate, the Census Bureau announced way back in 2012 that this group made up just a minority of births, while that dip has only become more severe in recent years. White people have fought for the rights of black people and were lauded as heroes. Millions died fighting for the rights of Jews, and they too were called heroes. Will you, the growing minority majority, return the favor?
Today, the head of the association that represents Toronto officers expressed disappointment Pride Toronto signed the document.
We feel that we were thrown under the bus, and if that's the case, that they had no intent or they just wanted to keep the parade moving, they need to deal with it, and they need to deal with it now, and they need to offer our members and all police an apology.
The Black Lives Matter protesters also demanded more funding and guaranteed space for Pride events involving black youth and Indigenous people who are LGBT.
For a simple gift of a wall or an end to dirt right citizenship or pro-natal policy, you can symbolically adopt this European. Call now and receive this adoption kit as our gift of thanks. Will you stand by her? Will you stand by true diversity? Please call now and help us stop this race from vanishing.